Hey, what is going on, you guys? Got a brand new deck guide slash card guide for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Headpool, the brand new Series 5 slash seasonal super premium season pass card that we had releasing yesterday. This is how he was performing for me. This is one of the main cards I was using on my climb yesterday. And this card is actually really awesome. It gives you a lot of different lines you didn't really think of maybe prior to other areas of Destroy, being able to set up for some of that unknown power we were talking about in Buy or Bust. If you guys watched that this past week, kind of giving you that kind of like Gwenpool, Nakia kind of situation, but like repeatable, kind of it Vision walked, so this kind of could run kind of thing, which feels really solid. And of course, we also have Mora in this list as well to kind of give you some more of that unknown factor and continue to get value when it comes to the comboing for this card itself. But let's go ahead and jump right into what the deck looks like and break down some of those lines for you guys. Before we do that, in case you guys did not know, Headpool is a 1-cost, 1-power card with the ability, when this is destroyed, return it to your hand and give all cards in your hand +1 power, which means this power does get added to Headpool when Headpool does return it to your hand, which is why I want to mention that when you look at the deck itself. The lines are going to be very interesting with this. In a lot of situations, you want to set up the card that you want returning to your hand first before you destroy Deadpool or Headpool. So like if you want Deadpool to get back into your hand, you go Deadpool into Headpool and then you destroy, so then Deadpool goes back into your hand and then Headpool returns to your hand and Headpool buffs everything as well as the Deadpool you had just destroyed. And then like with Moira, you play Moira before you play Mora, sorry. I say it wrong every single time. Whatever. Mora before Headpool. So you destroy Mora. You get those 3 cards of your starting hand back into your hand. And then you Headpool. You destroy your Headpool next. And then that power gets added to those cards that return to your hand. So you have that power to kind of scale really well. Especially this being able to be destroyed multiple times is really, really nice. Especially being a really solid snap condition for you is going to be like starting hand is Mora and Death. Because then if you have the destroy cards with you, you can really just continue to get more deaths. And the more deaths you have, essentially, you're going to have some 0-powered cards to be able to mess around with. If, of course, you have like the right curve and get all the other destroy cards and stuff, which is why we're going a little bit cheaper. Of course, I've seen other versions running Wolverine. Instead, I am running Agony to lean more into that Deadpool destroy side, getting Deadpool that extra back or that extra power. And then you also could put Agony on your Headpool because you're destroying that multiple times, or your X23. So using Agony to kind of help boost your null is kind of the thought process and get more power potentially across the board and onto, you know, some more of your main combo cards you're going to be destroying a lot of anyways. That's kind of like what I'm kind of considering with this here. But especially, you know, if Death is in your starting hand with Mora and you have the destroy cards, like it's, let's say it's Mora, Death, and Carnage, your first 3 cards, you're going to get more Carnages because you're going to be destroying Mora, get another Carnage back, and you just continue that combo process. So definitely make sure if you have a line like that, you're snapping. You are snapping into like a Mora Death with a destroy card, especially a cheaper one like Carnage. Killmonger is okay because you can kind of maybe set up some stuff for later on. But kind of think about that. Hand space, of course, is something you do need to manage as well. This is not an automatic just plug and chug, you know, I'm never going to have a full hand kind of thing. Headpool kind of with Mura can kind of set you up to have a little bit of clutter. So just like play out your lines the way you would. Maybe even set up cards for your next turn later in the game like you would have in the earlier stages of the game as well in order to get some better Headpool and Mora value. That way you aren't clogging your hand. But if you have your combo cards in your hand, like let's say you have multiple deaths or you have a bunch of big Deadpools, don't worry about clogging your hand. Like literally, you can still clog your hand. You don't have to have Null every single time. Null, of course, does help to be able to, you know, make sure you get the extra value. You destroyed so many different cards. You have this big power card you slam down to the end. But there's some instances, depending on what decks you're playing against, whether it is like a discard deck that isn't getting any crazy power at the moment, you maybe don't need Null into that matchup. End of turn gets a little bit tricky because you kind of want to have Null to be able to go against a lot of these Thenas and Havocs that you're seeing people play because those are going to scale vertically with, you know, Invisible Woman for Steps, Jocasta, and people running Prodigy in that now, so they're getting crazy vertical power. But you can kind of maybe play into one lane kind of thing because in that Invisible Woman, Jocasta, and Prodigy lane, a lot of the times I was seeing yesterday is people are stacking their lanes with all those cards, throwing that lane. So you can kind of prioritize that and then throw your Null into maybe one of the lanes where you had the smaller end of turn card to be able to mess around with that. Of course, you have Killmonger to deal with the Sunspots, Hydra Bobs, Black Cats. You know, it has stuff there to also give you some value for Null. So don't be afraid, like I said, to just tempo some of these cards out, just to be able to give yourself some more breathing room when it comes to your hand, because, Mora and Headpool and Deadpool are, 3 cards that add cards back into your hand. So just thinking about that thought process-wise when you go playing this deck is just something you need to really think about. But it gives you, like, another level to this, which gives Destroy kind of a little different than just solid, I'm just destroying things kind of situation. Gives you better, like, snap conditions, which I really like. But let's go ahead and jump right into why we have each card in this list individually. So starting off, first and foremost, we're playing Deadpool Destroy. Like, this is literally Deadpool Destroy. So we have Deadpool in this list, So Deadpool doubles his power whenever he returns to your hand. It works really well with Headpool. Works really well with Mora, giving you just more Deadpools to kind of mess around with. Like, Deadpool Agonies, being your starting hand with Mora, allows you to kind of get more Deadpools across the board, kind of get that kind of chain instead of going 2. But just ultimately, you're trying to just get this card really massive to get null value. Hopefully, have X23 on the board as well, so you can play Deadpool, Null, and Death. That's like the main huge line you can do here. But of course, Headpool gives this power when it turns back to his hand as well. You have Nico to destroy this to draw 2 cards, kind of start your Deadpool curve out a little bit early. And then also you have, Nico add power to this card, and Nico copy to this card. Like, there's a bunch of different options that you can do with this. You're playing Destroy. I think Deadpool is just really solid and is just a really main power card for you in this list. You, of course, have Headpool to be able to buff Deadpool, the Mora cards, and the other cards in your hand, whether it's a generated death, or just in general having unknown power. Just so your opponent has to keep in mind how much power did Headpool actually create, because you're destroying Headpool so much, your opponent doesn't necessarily see Headpool on the board every single turn, or at the end of each turn. So, like, the next turn, they can't necessarily calculate, wait, how many times has Headpool gone off? They have to do kind of different mental math to really kind of see how much power they need to send into a bunch of other lanes. So this really helps you in that kind of, like, snap condition of my opponent doesn't know what I have in power-wise, so they kind of have to play around certain things, but they don't know necessarily, which helps you kind of steal some more cubes and give you some better cube equity. Of course, you have Mora, and at the same time, he gives you some cube equity because it's the unknown. What created cards did my opponent just get? What did Mora just copy? And, snapping into this, especially, like I said, when you have a death in your hand, it gives you the extra value there, or being able to continue to combo this out. Of course, once your opponent sees, oh, they've already played this card before, they can kind of, tell what you started with in your opening hand. And more often than not, if you're playing Mora on 1, your opponent probably can assume that you have another Mora coming back after you destroy it. But this really does help you get some extra combos, extra destroy cards, and of course the high roll is like a death, getting an extra death. And then this into Headpool is also really solid. Of course, you have Nico. Nico also can create copies of cards, can double her own power, destroy cards so you can draw extra cards. I'm snapping still into Nico, draw 2, kind of like how you would snap into Old Mindstone. Just because getting those extra draws are better than what your opponent's going to get. Your opponent's, more often than not, is not going to get those extra 2 draws, which helps you really have a higher likelihood to be able to get all of your combo pieces. And you're playing a Destroy deck, which is still kind of combo heavy. And doing that really kind of elevates and allows you to kind of get a nice tempo, more often than not, over what your opponent's going to be able to do. So I like that. Nico can also change locations, turn cards into Demon, which could be extra power for your Null, and more Destroy cards potentially for your Death as well. So you have just a bunch of different options, moving cards to the right, changing locations. Like, Nico is just a really good utility card that really uses to staple and destroy because you have a bunch of different options. Really, most of our spells are really usable. Next, you have X23. This is your ramp card to allow you to be able to play so many extra cards during the course of the game. Of course, it regenerates onto the board as well, so you can continually destroy this. X23 allowing you to do more of your Mora combos, more of your Headpool stuff, allows you to have that extra energy to play Headpool out with your other cards to be able to keep destroying Headpool, to be able to get that extra power onto your other cards in your hand. You, of course, have Agony. Agony into a Headpool, Deadpool, or X23 are kind of like the main cards I see this getting the best use for, because those cards do continue to get you exponential value. because with Headpool comes back at your hand with a +3 on from the Agony, and they can continue to kind of snowball a little bit there. Deadpool, of course, this getting into Deadpool is almost an guaranteed snap condition if you have destroy cards with you, just because getting Deadpool up to 8 after the first destroy and then continually 8, 16, 32, you see, it's going to be really, really crazy power. So having Agony really does help, get that Deadpool line. So just make sure if you have the destroy cards and you have Agony into Deadpool, this is almost a guaranteed snap for you. Just, depending, of course, what your opponent is playing. But snap into your Deadpool really scaling vertically super early on in the game. That way you can actually maximize the cubes you're going to be able to gain. Of course, you have Carnage. Carnage is a destroy card. You can use this, of course, instead of like a Venom or like a Killmonger. Killmonger, of course, is global. Carnage is single lane. You can use this on also like negative cards, such as like a Hobgoblin, Goblins, Hoods, or even like the Ninjas kind of stuff, Carnage, does not absorb those power. It just, gets power from the other cards destroying the lane. This is a really good setup for turn 3. More often than not, I am not tempoing Carnage. I am not tempoing Carnage unless I have a really crazy starting hand. Like maybe if it is a Mora turn 1 and I have Carnage, Death, Mora in hand, I'm starting out that Death pretty much curve to get extra deaths. But more often than not, I am not playing Carnage on turn 2. I'm waiting to play Carnage on turn 3 in a perfect world with another 1-drop. Next, of course, we have Killmonger. This is a good global card for you. If you're playing against a deck that has a lot of 1 cost, this is maybe something you're saving until the end of the game instead of potentially playing on Null, or you're playing a little bit earlier to be able to offset some of these 1-cost cards they have to get better death value for yourself if you don't have your other destroy cards, or maybe they get hit in a Cosmo lane. Of course, you have Killmonger to be able to offset those cards. It's just one of those tech 3-drops, which we're really glad is back to its global ability, right? We all wanted that back. We wanted old Killmonger back, right? Next, we're going to have Venom. Venom, of course, absorbs the power of all the cards in his lane when he destroys them. Absorbs, he just adds the power of all the cards on lane to him, not absorbs them. That's the wrong. But you're playing this probably a little bit later on than on turn 3. Of course, it really depends, like what I said, like your opening hand. If you have another Venom in your opening hand, it's not the worst scenario if you have a Mora to be able to get that extra Venom again, because then that power can continually flow throughout the course of the game, and you're not losing power destroying this to be able to get extra, null value. So you kind of can use that there, but you're more often than not using this later in the game with a bigger Deadpool, or you're using this with a bigger X23, or stuff has happened across the board to get exponential Venom value, because you're usually using this to kind of help pump your null and have it as like another just enabler for big power. Next, of course, we have Deathlock. Like Carnage, Deathlock is one of those cards that kind of just cleans up a lane. This is something I'm also okay just playing out on 3. If I don't have a Carnage, I use this instead of Killmonger and instead of Venom, I'm going to be playing Deathlock. Deathlock, of course, to destroy all the cards in the lane, and it has a decent base power at 5. I'm not really losing all too much on tempo playing a Deathlock, and it's better to do this on tempo than a Killmonger. Next, of course, we do have Null. It absorbs all the power, or it has all the combined power. I'm saying absorb wrong. All the combined power of cards destroy this game. This is really good. Of course, this is like one of your other big top-end pieces you're playing down at the end of the game. This is also a really good card with Mora, especially into like a mirror match against Destroy. If you can get this out early with something like an X23, getting this out on 5, and you've also destroyed Mora to be able to get Null again, this is a pretty good snap condition because your opponent, more often than not, is either going to play into the Null lane or around the Null lane, but then you drop another one. Because it's a 6 cost, your opponent doesn't necessarily know you have another Null. Gives you a lot of just solid options to be able to have extra power across the board that is unaccounted for because of the Mora value. And then, of course, you have Death. Death, gets discounted for the amount of cards destroyed in the game, and you're destroying a lot of cards. You're generating more cards to destroy more cards. You're also, Headpool and Deadpool are 2 cards that return back to your hand every single turn you destroy them, so it allows you to continue to destroy them repeatedly for some death value, as well as Moira, giving you extra cards to destroy, give you extra death value as well, so you're pretty much getting a lot of death value in this, especially with this being more of a low, mid-range kind of style destroy deck. I'm really liking death in here. Now, if you don't have something like a Mora, you could maybe go into more so of that Wolverine line. I think that Wolverine line actually will help kind of just get more power on the board to kind of give you some more of those destroys as well. That's kind of like the general thought process there is you could do the Wolverine and instead of like a Mora, even though I like the Mora more, or even instead of Agony, you could do the Wolverine line. I think that's what I like seeing more people do is more the Wolverine stuff opposed to the Agony stuff. I just personally like Agony going more into the Deadpool type of stuff is kind of like my general thought process there. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump right into some gameplay from stream yesterday. And if you guys do enjoy the video, definitely feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys at the end of the video. We are vibing. And vibing is good. If I get another... I did not get anything on the 21st null. I did not. If this is discard and I start off with this... This is a snap. Because we're going to get the Deadpool going, and we have Killmonger in hand. This is looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Zombie Power Man. He's going to hit Colonel America. This gives me Killmonger, Deadpool, Agony. Oh my. Wow. Redshift hits Helicarrier, which fills their hand again, too.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
Prodigy gets eaten. That seems pretty good. We could do all mid. Oh, that's true. We could have done all mid. Very, very good point there. But now they're stuck middle. So I'm not going to Killmonger. Or, I mean, I guess I could Killmonger. That is true, though. I probably should have done middle instead. I get Venom, Deathlock. Okay, so I'm going to actually save. They eat Sage. Oh, that's true. They can also move out Meek. Very true. I done goofed. But I do have this, which seems pretty decent. Yo, dance. Oh, they could get Killmonger. Oh, they get Deathlock. Oh! They don't move the Meek. So we're going to pretty much guarantee middle. We guarantee middle. So I go this. Yes, we are destroying. Into this. That. Or this. That. And that. Actually, I don't even need. Let's do this. This. That. And that. Or this. This. That. The Electra. Okay. Thanos. Gambit. Oh, that's unfortunate. Which hit. Ooh. Into Scorn. I Killmonger. Which I did also play everything in the right spot, it looks like. Wow. The Gambit had a 1 out of 3. And it hit one of the lesser cards it could have. Hydra Bomb. I'll go where Headpool. Yeah, double head. Double head. Double head. Yeah, this is about to be just gross, huh? Oh, mama. We got Cassandra Nova. Man. Man, oh man. But Headpool things, bro. Headpool things. The ramp is good. The ramp is good. What we got? Super Giant. Super Giant. The Venom there also would have been a good shout. That is true.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
That is true. They lose Black Cat. I'm going to go Nico, Vibranium, Venom. There you go, Vibranium, Iron Patriot, Korg. Is that Darkhawk? Is that a big hawk? I think it's a big hawk. But that's okay. We have Killmonger. We have the Killmonger. Into Big Hawk, right? Big Hawk! Uh-oh. Nico. Vibranium. Which Lizard actually goes up and wins there. But yeah. That will work. The Headpool curve we had there was so good. Viv is pretty interesting. I might get another Carnage, or I can get another Venom. I think I might go Venom here. Spider-Man. It hits Deadpool. Okay. That's fine. Oh my word. It doesn't even matter, huh? Galacta, Nightcrawler. into Viv. Viv can go wherever she wants. Viv goes one of the worst spots there, actually. But we have really good. The Agony draw there is so nice for us. They're setting up for things there. Elsa, Kate, and Kitty. I won't have Prio going into this. So if I can draw Killmonger, that also would be really solid for us. We draw X-23. We have Death lined up with extra energy, and then Deadpool is... Having them have to play around Viv is really good for us, actually. They can clog us, potentially, so it'll be like 50-50. Either Viv goes here or there. Big Kitty into Angela, Miles, and Acid Arrow. And then it is Gambit, which hits nothing. And then I ducked Prio. And X-23 stays middle. Wow. That is good for us.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. Ducky and Prio is what we really needed to do. And the top deck of Killmonger was really nice for us as well. This is a good start. Nico draw 2 into Deadpool Mora is nice. And having Carnage in hand. So it's Nico here, and then it'll be Deadpool Mora. Quinjet. Oh yeah, this is cool. This into that. Into Headpool Carnage.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
We get the null. Oh, actually, now that actually maybe was a bad idea. We do fill our hand. Headpool does not go off. Hood. Vicky.
Hello.
This is where I need like a Killmonger. Killmonger actually could be beneficial. Killmonger would be hype here. Just Frigga. Bastion. Oh. That's also good. That's also really good. There's the Killmonger. Do this. That. I'm Killmongering early. But getting this out of the way is really good for us. I mean, they have another Vic. They're going to go Vic into Frigga, probably. So I wonder if it's this into that, actually. Try and duck Cryo here for a Killmonger final play. If I had had Death in hand, I would have played that a little bit differently, but we do not have Death. There's the Vic into Frigga. Yeah. And some good old classic destroy. Okay. Headpool into Mora also is a pretty good start. With Death in hand. Okay, we do. Okay. If we play this properly, is Headpool any good? I'm liking Headpool. I am genuinely enjoying Headpool. Black Cat. Extra deaths can be really good for us here. Strange Academy. And we got a destroy card. Okay. This is a good start. A good start. Bob, they really are setting everything up left. Is this about to be Cosmo middle? If I hit Killmonger, we might snap. Jocasta. Get Deadpool back as well. And then Headpool. Okay. And then it is going to be... Moira, Deadpool, Headpool. And then if I play Killmonger, I gotta do... Yeah, and he buffs himself. If we play Killmonger... Yeah. I gotta worry about the hand clog. This gives me 1, 2, 3. And then Deadpool. I think it's still this. Prodigy Jocasta. Okay. And then there's actually a world where I don't... Okay, so now we have to. If I do this instead... Yeah, they're just moving Bob so they can play this. Like, so this lane is pretty much going to be free. This lane's pretty much free. I get 3. I fill my hand. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Marvel Boy, Athena. Yeah. Goes right. Okay. So. They had to play first steps invis here. Like, this has to be first off invis. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, we got Nico. Ooh, Nico, draw 2. Let's go crazy here, actually. Ant-Man. Fish, we're playing ongoing stuff, you say? Okay, so thought process is we get Carnage. Yes, I removed Wolverine for Headpool. This is actually what we do. This is actually what we do. Fish never has armor and never has Cosmo. Oh, it's Squirrel. Oh, it's Zoo? We could potentially Killmonger now with that snap. But I think we hold. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad we did not Killmonger. Because we do not need the Killmonger just yet. Not just... Yes, that was actually really, really solid for us to do there. Okay. Sweet, 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 sweet. Moira gives me Killmonger, Deadpool, Nico.
Hello.
Wiccan. Wait, oh, but they're not on a Wiccan curve. Not on a Wiccan curve is something I really enjoy there. This gives me a 20 power Deadpool. Which I think we do that instead. You see 3A, totally valid. Bro, 70s took me a hot minute too. You saw it. It took me a hot minute as well. Nico Gilgamesh. That's really strong. Really, really strong. One of 2 cards they have. Okay. So, if I go... Killmonger... I know I'm not going to destroy any cards, right? They never double Gilgamesh, right? They could go Dazzler, Gilgamesh. I lose to Blarvel would bump this up 4. Is it this? Another Gilgamesh would be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gilgamesh would go up to another 6. It'd go to 13 again. I think just Gilgamesh, right? No, I think do we lose this or no? It's gonna be close. No, okay, we pull it out. We pull it out. Cool. That'll work. That'll work. We know this. Stardust instead. Always Stardust instead. What's going on, Cass? How you doing, bro? You hate Stardust? I bet, especially into what you're playing right now, it is a little rough. This actually could be cool. This is pretty cool. Do they have Headpool here or what? Stardust is really good tech card. Headpool into X23. Good gravy. Let me just play Null out left. And I'll either get Venom or Killmonger, but I think Moira brings one of them back. They Venom.
I definitely need to change my underwear.
That's true. Killmonger would block their Carnage play. Wolverine. I get Venom, so that's unfortunate. And they get Headpool. Yo, catch you later, Cypher. You have a good one. You have a good one. Big S23. Big stretch. We get another null. Yeah, the Headpool goes hard. The Headpool goes crazy. What do we got? We have Death. Death. We had another null down. Moira, Deadpool, Headpool, Killmonger. Alright. Never played against so many Infinite Border players. Hey, everyone's cooking. Cooking. Okay, they're going to copy their hand, starting hand. Which they might have another death. But we snapped into our null being middle. Top deck death, please. Wait. I never just throw middle, right? Can I have Angela Gaming? Nice. Yeah, okay. That works. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did stick around to the very end, let me know down below. Did you guys snag Headpool, or what have you guys already been playing with the new season? Be on the lookout for a discard video tomorrow, because I've been playing some discard, some more classic discard, and it's feeling really solid with Colonel America and Zombie Power Man, which I know if you guys watched the Yap on Tuesday, which yesterday, the time I'm recording this, of course, I was a little low on Power Man, but I think I might be scaling a bit better and really just biting my tongue there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. It's been real. God bless, and Tucker up.